Hi friends, welcome to Bookish Bliss, our virtual book club. Every week we will dig into a section of chapters in our favorite books. Let's get started.
Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 32 of Bookish Bliss. We have a lot to discuss today.
Yes, this week we are discussing our final thoughts of A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. There will be spoilers as we are discussing the entire book, so you do have to read the whole book to listen. Amanda, what are you drinking tonight?
Tonight I'm drinking tequila again and some water that's flavored to make juice.
God. To make juice. Well, that's lovely.
You know the Crystal Light things?
Yes.
That you
the
can
little
put in
packets.
water? Yeah. Made my own mixer for tonight.
Nice.
What are you drinking?
Well, your girl is hungover. She's too old to be going to bachelorette parties at my age, so I am drinking a vitamin water. I also have a Red Bull so I can stay awake and have energy for this episode, because Final Thoughts are honestly my favorite episode because we get to talk about all of our favorite things that have happened in the book. And this week, for the first time ever, Bookish Bliss is having a special guest star.
Yes!
And I'm very excited about this. We have my friend who I met through my best friend Christina joining us on the podcast today. She knows way more than I will ever know about any sort of universe. And so I'm so happy that she'll be on here to discuss Silver Flames with us and where does the ACOSF series go next. So I would like to introduce Amy Menchaca.
Yay!
Yay! She's here!
Amy.
Oh, jeez. No, I'm not an expert here.
She is. Anytime I have any sort of question, you've probably heard me say it on the podcast before. I'm like, I have to text Amy and I have to figure out what the heck is going on. So,
yes.
Sure, but half of the time I go to like Wiki or Google or something to remind myself.
She knows everything.
Well, we have Wiki and Google behind the scenes today, so we'll be good.
Yes. Amy, what are you drinking tonight?
Oh, I made myself complicated. I have many drinks, but I got some Merlot.
Nice.
For the toast. Got my water in my lovely new mug.
Yeah.
I love it.
Steamed for the night. And I got some leftover iced coffee.
Love it.
I am also tired.
Yes. It's always great to have multiple drinks while recording, but I will cheers you guys to episode 32 and final thoughts.
Yes.
Cheers.
Fun glass, Megan.
Thank you.
Oh yeah.
For your vitamin water.
It's going to be a fun night.
Yeah.
Not only is Amy joining us tonight, but a first for Bookish Bliss is finishing a series. So we get to talk theories and predictions, and Megan can finally tell us all her thoughts that we've been dying to hear for 32 weeks.
I know, yes. I get to finally say what I think and not be like, oh, I need to hold that back. Actually, there are still things that me and Amy will have to hold back.
Yes.
But for the most part, we can be candid.
Perfect.
It won't be worse than the Tamlin episode.
After a certain point, I just couldn't do it anymore. Yeah. I just couldn't help my distaste of him. It was so hard. Was so hard.
It's okay. You did really good on everything else. Even my prediction about love, when you were like, oh.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yes, that's what I always do. That's interesting.
Yeah.
But now she knows, so I have to find like new keywords.
A new phrase.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm on to you. All right, so let's get started with the good stuff and discuss our final thoughts of ACOSF. Megan, why don't you start and tell us your book rating?
Yeah, so I gave it 5 stars the first time, and like I said, for all these other books, whatever I rated it the first time is what I was sticking with, because I feel like that was the fairest thing to do, unless I super hated it or super loved it more than I did the first time around. So I'm keeping it at 5 stars. We all know my love of Nesta, and that will never change, so it's staying at a full 5 stars.
Awesome.
How about you, Amanda?
Megan, don't beat me up.
I'm so upset about this.
Well, I had to do a 4.75 for this one. And it's not because I'm not obsessed with Nesta and Cassian, because I am. And their whole story was fab. But the ending to me, it just felt too rushed, too anticlimactic. And I don't know, I can't give it the full 5 because of that.
You had to drop it a full 0.25?
I mean, I don't know. How does scale work? I don't know.
You could be like 4.999. Would it be more acceptable?
No. It needed to lose it. I was pissed. 700 something pages about, this big bad Breolin, and then poof, she's in Ash in one page.
Well, I don't think Breolin was the big threat that they've been talking about this whole time. It was always Koshi, and we were never going to get an ending to that in this book.
I know. I just think it could have been a little bit more dramatic, is what I'm saying. Like Cassian fakes his death, and then nothing. He doesn't even have one little stab wound, nothing.
He's been hurt enough in other books. We don't need him with any more stab wounds.
Megan. Well, Amy, tell us what your rating is for A Court of Silver Flames.
So the first time I read it, I think I was a little less not that I'm harsh, but I feel like I was not harsh at all when I first was reading it. So with any book. So I'm like, all right, I gave it 5 stars. But this time around, I'm like, we're just going to do a 4.5.
Oh!
Megan's face.
I didn't even read that before.
So the thing is, and I don't usually do 0.25 or 0.75, so that's where that came from. But also, I usually stick with half or full, but I'm just like, there were some stuff that I read more recently, and I love ACOSF. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just like, this was great.
Yeah.
No.
I just had to talk it a little bit.
No.
I still love it.
I get it. There are other better writing, better quality
Megan?
Books out there.
When Amy says it, you get it?
Yeah, because her explanation is better than anticlimactic ending.
Oh my God. All right. We should have talked before, Amy. I needed some help there.
I guess so. I didn't even consider she'd be mad.
Amy can't do wrong in my eyes.
Oh, man.
Didn't think I could either until now.
I'm just kidding. I literally on my way home, I'm like, Amanda's the smartest person I have ever met.
Stop it. You're
I
making
did
me
say
smart.
that.
She did.
I will always love you, even if we don't agree on your ratings.
I will always love you, Megan.
That's fair.
All right. So I thought it would be fun, too, if we ranked the entire series from 5 being your worst of the 5, and then counting 3.5 as a book, in this case, the novella. So,
okay.
Start us off, Megan.
Okay. Well, I don't think anyone's going to be shocked by mine.
No, I don't think so either.
In 5th place, I have A Court of Frost and Starlight, the little baby novella. I couldn't do without it. I mean, obviously there are some good info dumps in there of things we need to know moving forward into A Court of Silver Flames and beyond. But beyond that, I was just annoyed. Yeah. Okay. Number 4, I have ACOTAR, because as much as I love it, it's the start of our journey. I just feel like I like the other books more. Yeah. And I hate Tamlin. So
and fuck Tammy.
Really?
Yeah.
Tammy do nothing. We call him on this podcast.
In 3rd spot, I have A Court of Wings and Ruin as my 3rd place, because there's just 2 other books that I love more, because I am the more romance out of the romantasy. So more romance girly than fantasy girly. So like as much as I like the information and the action in ACOWAR, there's just 2 other books that have more romance in it for me. Yeah. And so number 2 is A Court of Silver Flames, because I love Nesta forever. But number 1 is A Court of Mist and Fury.
Of course. Reese's girl here.
Always be the love of my life. No book will I ever place above it.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
No, never.
More than Cassian and the dirty sex scenes, Megan?
Yes. Like chapter 54, the first time I read it, not even 55. It's not even about the sex.
Yeah.
Chapter 54 and that lead up in ACOTAR to chapter 54 just blew my mind.
No,
and I've never been that shook ever.
Yeah.
So
no, I totally understand
that's true.
Yeah.
That is why it is number one in my heart, number one forever. Fuck you, Tamblyn, forever recent.
I don't know. We haven't got our As book yet, so we'll see.
Yeah. As
I also love
as books come out, this
You
order
never
might
know.
change.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then in other Sarah J. Maas series, the order would change as well. So
Yeah.
yes.
We'll
All
eventually have an episode that ranks all of those books, but I need time. I need time.
There's a lot.
All right, Amanda, what is your order?
Okay, mine goes number 5 I gave to ACOTAR.
Yes.
But only because I liked A Court of Frost and Starlight better, because I liked the people better in that book, and I felt like it was like a cute little yay story. I'm sure you probably felt different because you were waiting for the next book to come out and you were like, this is all I fucking got, what the fuck? But
Yeah.
I felt opposite because I already had it handy to read.
Yeah, I feel like I am like a little surprised by it because you were a Lucian stan
I know.
during that first book.
He died in my heart. Like, I
know.
like, I'm over him.
That's so sad.
My new man is Cassian, for sure. And I'll explain why A Court of Silver Flames is in my number 3 spot. Only because that ending, number 1, and number 2, I was obsessed with Cassian the whole entire time. He's my number 1 book boyfriend right now, until I probably read Fourth Wing again, because then I'll love Layden all over again first. But I have that there because of chapter 54. I had to give it to ACOSF in number 2 spot for chapter 54 because it blew my mind too. And it was like the best setup I've ever seen of a book series so far. So, but since I am more the fantasy of the romantasy of our duo here, I pick ACOWAR as my number 1. Because that battle, she gets every power from every High Lord and she comes all together and is this all-powerful being. Can't top it for me, the fantasy. So yeah, a little different our orders, but it's okay. As long as you still love me.
Of course I do.
Perfect. All right, Amy, tell us your order.
All right. This is the first time I've had to rank these. Long story short, Megan had me rank all of the SJM books.
I did.
Which obviously we're not going into. And I was like, I've never done this before.
Yeah.
So I took my ranking from there. But it was close for me between Frost and Starlight and ACOTAR for the bottom 2. But I did put Frost and Starlight at 5. I do enjoy it though, and I don't think I would ever skip it because then I find Megan, don't shake your head.
No, I'm saying you can't skip it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Because then, I feel like I always find another little tidbit.
Yeah.
When I reread it of info. And then 4 is ACOTAR. Although I feel like every time I give someone the first book of the series, I'm like, listen, it's good, but it gets better. So just read it.
Yeah. It's just your introduction to the worlds. You fall in love with
exactly
Feyre.
What Megan said to me.
I've told my mom. I've told everybody I've given it to.
Yeah.
Like, no, just keep going. Anyway, my 3 is Silver Flames. I do love it, but it's right in the middle for me. I do love Nesta. I don't know. Cassian's great, but I'm not the Cassian girly.
Oh, that's okay.
I'm sorry.
I can have them all to myself. That's okay.
Yeah, go for it.
You can have him.
Number 2 is ACOWAR for me. I feel like I'm like in the middle of the romance and fantasy. I'm right in the middle for you guys.
Oh,
I like
perfect. You'll balance us out.
She's our mediator.
Yeah.
I could do high fantasy sometimes, but I like the blend.
Yeah.
So ACOWAR's number 2, and then ACOMAF. That's my number 1.
Perfect.
I love it.
2 ACOMAFs in number 1.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was a great book, though. They're all great books.
Yeah.
I love them all.
No, it's true.
For sure. So now let's get into our favorites of A Court of Silver Flames. Megan, tell us who your favorite character
I mean, obviously it is Nesta. She's my girl, the baddest bitch ever. I don't think anyone was going to be surprised by this. Nesta was my favorite in ACOWAR.
Yeah.
She's my favorite in ACOSF. She's just always going to be my number 1, I think, moving forward.
Yeah, probably.
Unless I think Azrael could come and top her to number 1 for any book that's from his point of view. Because even from the little point of view we get from him in the bonus chapter in A Court of Silver Flames, I'm like, I like the way that man thinks.
I just need more information.
Yeah.
Even though some of it's going to be sad, probably.
Oh, yeah, I need a little bit more research before I make a decision. But I really do base it on each book that we're reading.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Nesta was not my favorite in A Court of Frost and Starlight.
Oh,
no. Who was your
I think
favorite? I forget.
Cassian.
Oh, yeah. Cassian.
Okay.
I love Cassian.
Amanda, who is your favorite character in this book?
So I loved Nesta, Gwen, and Emery collectively as the trio. For me, can't top anything. And Cassian was a close second. Nesta and Cassian together, their relationship. But I love this trio and everything that they're about in this book.
Yes.
Love them. It's kind of like us. We're the Valkyries.
Oh, yay!
Megan, you're Nesta. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes!
I mean, she has to be, doesn't she?
Yeah.
So Valkyries, I feel
Nesta
like I'd
is
be
the
Nesta.
younger.
And then, I don't know, I feel like Amy with your, like, librarian.
Yeah, you would be.
Yeah, and my red hair right now.
Yeah, you would be Gwen.
Yeah.
That's fine.
That leaves me with Emery. Fuck, my wings are broken. I almost could fly.
Oh.
I know, but you're still a badass.
Yeah, that's right.
You carried Gwen to the top of that mountain. You fucking won
yeah.
the blood
That's
right.
right. That's right. Amy, who's your favorite character or characters?
Well, I have to second what Amanda said and say that the Valkyrie trio, because, it was just nice seeing Nesta learn she could have friends and her own family, and just seeing them get closer to each other. It was great.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yay. Woohoo! To the Valkyries.
Yeah.
Woo! We have a fun slumber party where we have unicorns and Pegasus.
Yeah.
And
oh my god. Yes. That's a great segue into my next section, favorite parts, because that is my favorite part.
I say. I had to show the picture that I almost forgot to grab.
Oh my god.
Love it.
I know. Anyway, I'm sorry.
It's us. I literally have the blonde hair.
Yeah.
You have the blonde hair, Megan.
True.
Yeah, it's close.
Wild.
So funny.
Yeah, so that's actually my favorite part, Megan, the slumber party, for sure. I just love that scene so much. And it was so fun to read. I will read it over and over again and never have an issue. I think it's so fun. And I love the little magic touches in there too, and how surprised Gwen was. What did she say, Megan?
Oh, I know.
You live in a magic house.
Yeah, and of course I loved all the spicy scenes with Nesta and Cassian. Like, for sure, loved every single one. Those are my
to the headboard, Nesta.
Woo! Oh, honey, yes. How about you, Amy?
Oh, I get to go before Megan. Oh. I also love the slumber party scene. I love the friendship bracelets. I had a friendship bracelet at some point I got from an Etsy shop. And, I just was re-listening to that scene today where I'm at in the audiobook. And I didn't even realize that the colors they had offered were the same ones in the book.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
It's like, I have Emery's bracelet. But anyway, I also love the "our stories are worth telling" quote.
Oh, yes.
To the point where after I read the book, I got a shirt with it.
I love that.
And seeing a little bit more of Azriel, because I love Azriel. Like we were just saying, I need more.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know. Oh, Megan, sorry, I had her go after me because I knew she had notes on that agreed with mine.
Oh.
Sorry.
Megan intentionally hid her favorite part from us until now.
I know, the anticipation. Tell me your favorite part.
So my favorite part is Nesta, obviously, at the pass of Annalius. And I love that when she's holding the line, protecting her friends, and she's kind of come to this point in her life where she wants to live and she's fighting for the people she loves. And her healing journey has kind of like come to an end. And she's like, you will not cross this line. You will not get to my friends. And I will not die today, and I'm going to protect everyone that I love. And I just really love that part of the book and kind of wrapping up Nesta, and it was just touched my heart and perfect for me.
Wow, that's beautiful, Megan.
Thank you.
I changed my favorite part. No, I'm just kidding.
No, but that is such a great part. Obviously, I love that scene. We know I walked around for a whole week going, you live in a magic house.
I know, it was so fun. Like, I would love to see that in a movie, or just that played out, that slumber party in like a clip or whatever. Doesn't even have to be a whole movie.
Someone's gotta have done it if they, or will be doing it if they haven't
those
already.
TikToks that are like characters but not really real people and they still act it out.
Yep.
Somebody on TikTok. We need to find someone.
So funny.
There was a lot of things that were not wrapped up at the end of this book. And because it's the last one that's technically out right now, I thought it would be fun to go over some of those things and also talk about some predictions and theories, since we have the expert in the house with us today.
Yes, we do. Amy's in the house.
Yes.
Start us off, darling.
Okay, so the first thing I have on my list is Koshi and Beren and the other queens. So are we set up for new villains for the next book?
Yeah, I think 1,000%.
Yeah.
1,000%. I think Koshi is not going anywhere until the final book. Like, that's kind of my feeling on Koshi.
Yeah.
I think maybe we wrap up Beren in the next book. I think that it'll be heavily focused on him. Maybe the portrayal of Prythian.
Yeah.
Maybe this is when we see Eris kind of rise to be the new High Lord of the Autumn Court.
Yeah.
By the end of the series, we're definitely seeing Eris as a High Lord. I just don't know when.
Yeah. That would definitely make sense, though, because I thought it was interesting, too. And we kind of mentioned this a little bit in our last episode about not seeing who Koshi was, just seeing like a shadow of
that, actually.
We had so many theories about this that we didn't keep in the episode either, because we were kind of spiraling. We're like, oh my gosh, we actually don't see him. It's just a shadow of a man. Not that they said that they recognized a voice, but I feel like that could be altered. And we're like, what if it's someone we know? What if it's someone we already know and that's why?
Yeah.
That could be the whole traitor thing. I don't know.
Because obviously like he's confined to his lake, but what if it's just the whole of his power is trapped on this lake, but he can still do like minor magics like winnowing and things like that, and that's how he's winnowing Briallin and other people into Prythian, is because he's in Prythian and can do minor magic, but his major powers are stuck on the lake. Just a thought.
That would be a wild twist, to know it was someone that's you loved the entire time or the entire series.
I don't know. Yeah, I really have no idea who it would be. Or it could just be Koshi. Like, he's just someone we don't know yet. And he's just not ready to show his face yet, because what if he's like the hottest man ever? And then we're like, oh, shit.
I know, right? There goes Miss Hand right out the door.
I love a good villain that's hot and redeemable.
Yeah, for real. Same. Do you think Beren will learn that Lucien is not his son? When and if the book is about Beren?
Maybe.
In his...
I don't know when we're going to find out, or when Lucian's going to find out this information.
It has to be soon.
Right?
It has to be.
I feel like he knows, and he's going to say.
I think Beren knows.
Beren might,
Lucien definitely doesn't. No.
Do you think Beren's going to be the one to tell Lucien?
Yeah, actually.
That could be.
Yeah. I think I think it's going to come to some sort of heated argument in-person scene, and he's going to be like, you're not even my son. And then he's going to be like, what? And then Helian's going to step forward and be like, I am. Like, I don't know.
I am your father.
And Favorite's going to be like, what? I had no idea.
He's going to be like... I don't know nothing. Next on my list is Mor and Valahan. What has she been up to there?
I don't know.
Basically this whole book.
Yeah, she's supposedly working on a treaty, trying to make sure that they also don't go to war and try to take over lands that the humans now hold. It might just be that they're holding her off and couldn't do much with her in this part of the story, that they needed her just to be doing something. I'm not sure it actually means anything, but it might mean something, because we still don't know about her secret property that nobody knows about, and why she has it and what she does up there. So
I forgot all about
that whole thing. Is I have no idea what to think of it.
Yeah,
that's like, that comes out in Of Course of Frost and Starlight.
And then she sees like the black figure or like the power, the shadow she doesn't want to go near, and the horse is like scared of it. and I have theories on that as well, but I can't talk about it. It could be Koshi or some sort of his powers, like watching her up there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because Koshi loves beautiful girls and women, or females, I should say. So maybe he's like been tracking more because she's described to be super beautiful.
That's true.
Yeah. Or maybe that's the scene that she becomes a traitor.
No, I think if it more was the traitor, like she was a traitor a long time ago. So yeah.
You think? I can definitely see how that's a theory now because she's completely MIA this whole book. I don't know what's going on with her there. I hope we get more information, at least an update. We don't even know how it's going.
The last thing we heard is when she comes back the first time after she winnows Nesta and Cassian up to the house for the first time, and she gives that brief update to Cassian, just basically saying they won't sign it, and that's all we know. But she continues to go back.
Yeah. Next up, Elaine and Lucian / Asriel / Gwen. What's going on with this little love square?
I saw fan art of all of that once. Anyway.
I know. I honestly am not an Elaine Asriel lover. I don't know if you are, Amy.
No. We're opening this bag of worms. No, I am much more of a Gwynreal fan. I mean, I'm sure if however Sarah means for it to be, however she writes it, in the end, I'm gonna be like, oh, okay. But right now.
Yes, I think I've said that before as well.
I
like
agree.
if that's what comes to play, I'm sure I'll agree with whatever Sarah does. But in the moment right now, I know there's a lot of people out there that are super hard, like will fight you to the death on Elaine and Asriel being together.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a very touchy subject out in the book community. But I'm just not on that page. I just don't see it. There's just too many consequences for them being together that don't seem like it's worth imploding Perithian over. Also, Nesta not changing her anatomy either to an Illyrian anatomy. I think that's also just another hint that they're not going to be together. I like Asriel and Gwen, the idea of them together, like the Shadow Singer, and then there's the theory about Gwen being a light singer. And even in that bonus scene together, it seems like she was like singing to his shadows. And yeah, I just think they work better together. I think she's going to give him the shit that he deserves and needs to come out of his shell. And Elaine is never going to do that for him.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I feel like the Gwen and Asriel storyline makes definitely more sense. But Megan, I think it was you that told me one theory that made me possibly ship Elaine and Asriel. It was like the cauldron for a different mate
that
or
was
something.
One of the theories that Amy sent over to me. Yeah,
it's at the very bottom.
Perfect. Yeah, so Amy found a theory online saying Asriel was meant to be Elaine's mate, but the cauldron gave her Lucian by mistake. And why this theory has come out is that Asriel was supposed to be Elaine's mate per the mother's judgment, but when Elaine went into the cauldron, Asriel was basically almost half dead. So his wings had been ravaged, like he had the poison in him and he was on death's door. And then the cauldron, who we know is obsessed with Elaine, saw this and took pity on her and gave Lucian her mate instead, because he wasn't the only other male in the room without a mate, but I think he was the closest probably at that point.
That I could totally see.
But then there's a part 2 to that. So since Asriel recovered and the mother wanted Elaine to be with Asriel, that there's this mating bond between both Lucian and Asriel for Elaine. So that's why it's just so uncertain and just wild.
Yeah, that would be wild.
I mean, I guess it's not impossible, but I don't know if I agree with that theory in particular.
No, I
really? Oh my god, I think that would literally blow my mind if I actually read that on the pages. And I would just be like, whoa.
I don't agree with that theory. It's an interesting theory for sure. I just think that Gwen is supposed to be with Asriel.
I mean, hold on. I have another fan art. How can you tell me? Here they are.
Oh, shit.
Playlist. How can you tell me?
Yeah. Gwen and Asriel forever.
I know. I do love them together. I'm a little weary that he gave her the same necklace he was going to give Elaine, and how that's going to work out when she finally sees it. But
no,
I can see the romance.
Yeah, I think she's going to give him the courage to come out of his shell, and he's going to do the same thing for her to come out of hers. Like, he also saved her life. I think there's just a lot that needs to be wrapped up between them, and definitely the tension with Elaine. But I think at the end of the day, Sarah has always said she wants her mating pairs to work, and she put Elaine with Lucian. So I think at the end of the day, somehow, some way, it's going to be worked out.
They're going to work out.
Or rejected, and then she just moves on, but it's definitely not going to be with Azriel.
I never knew that she said that, Sarah, that she wanted all her mating pairs to work out. Yeah,
she's like said a bunch of different things about Elaine and Lucian and what they would be doing today, and it doesn't seem like they wouldn't not be together.
Yeah. Interesting.
Just made me think of something I have to tell you later, Megan.
Okay.
That I just saw. It's nothing like
I'm jealous.
It's nothing like theory crazy. It was just something I saw Sarah did in the past. I was like, oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we think that Elaine belongs in the Spring Court and Lucian will eventually take over somehow? Or do we think they're going to be in the Day Court because he's really Helian's heir? Where do we think?
Well, that leads me into another theory that I found. Where the heck is it? Where I saw somewhere that, and I think this was me paraphrasing, what if Elaine had a vision that she's with the High Lord of the Day Court and she doesn't know that that will actually be Lucian eventually? So that's why she's like seemingly denying the mating bond.
Interesting.
I don't know.
You also said something about Lucian and he will be the one to free Vasa and the other women from Koshi's lake. And then this action coupled with his efforts at defeating Koshi, his connection to all the courts, because Lucian is such the Prithian courtier. He has connections everywhere, and his power will lead him to be chosen as the High King of Prithian. And maybe they establish like a home base at the Spring Court, because I don't know, I think Tamlin is going to not be alive at the end of this series.
Yeah.
Just the way he's been acting. And I think it would make sense for Elaine to go in and redo the Spring Court with the gardens and everything. And that, and like to honor Tamlin on Lucian's side, he makes his home base the Spring Court and they make it beautiful again. I don't know. That's just a theory that I was thinking in my head.
Yeah, I don't know. That was the first time I had seen the High King of Prithian thing, but like the rest of it kind of makes sense. Like just all of that stuff.
Yeah, that's the one part I can't see either. Like him, of all people, being the High King.
Well, I think it's because he's just the most neutral character that has connections to every court that wouldn't make the biggest shitstorm.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to be Rhysand, because that would cause too much destruction, and it's not going to be anyone that has, I don't know. He's just so uncomplicated that I think that it just makes the most sense if they were to go in that direction of a High King. He's the less problematic person.
Yeah, and if the next book is in Elaine's POV and they end up working out, or the mating bond is mentioned or whatever, he has a point of view because of it, then maybe something happens where he does win all the love of all the courts or whatever. And
I think a lot of people already have his back. Obviously, Helian does, because that's his son.
Yeah.
He has the Dawn Court friendship and connections there.
That made his eye, right?
His brother will probably be the High Lord of Autumn.
Yeah.
Then his mate is currently in the Night Court, and he's done a lot of things for them, being their ally.
Yep.
Yeah.
Winter and Summer, the only that we don't know any of like real connections between them.
Yeah.
And then obviously Tamlin, I don't think he's going to be alive. So,
but I think he would have that for sure.
Yeah.
Over Rhysand being the High King.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Interesting. Okay. Next on my list is Mor and Emery. They have a little flirtatious page, maybe, in the book. Yeah. A small encounter.
I think Emery just is admiring her in the library is the scene. Yeah, I can see it. It makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's also interesting that that's said to make us aware, basically, that Emery is into girls, too.
Yeah, yes. That's true.
So,
I don't have much to add on that, except we'll see.
Tell people
we kind of mentioned this a little bit when we talked about it in the section episode, and we both, I think, said that we ship it if Mor is not the traitor. But if she's a traitor, we don't ship it.
Yes.
That too. I mean, Moore also has to figure out her own coming out to most people, I feel like.
Yeah, that's true.
Before
Only
any of
Feyre
that.
really knows.
Yeah.
And that was brought up so long ago. I mean,
Yeah.
I think in Frost and Starlight, I think Feyre mentions like, "Oh, have you met anyone?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "No, shut the fuck up."
Yeah. She's like,
yeah.
I saw something the other day where someone was like really mad. Why are you stringing along this guy who likes you for like 500 years?
I know, literally.
And I was like, I mean, fair point.
I know, it is very fair. Poor ass.
But,
I
And
know.
Cassian.
Yeah.
That was weird.
Yeah.
Weird little trio there.
It was.
But what about Moore and Eris? We still don't fucking know what happened.
I just really love this, that it's under things that were not wrapped up, because Amanda was giving me so much shit because she honestly thought I knew what happened between them, and I don't.
Know.
I don't.
I was like, you're lying. There's no way. It's mentioned literally 50 times, and it's mentioned in the last chapter of the book.
One day we'll know.
Still don't know.
Also, we saw a post the other day on TikTok where it was doing ACOSF math of how old these characters were when this would have happened.
Oh my god!
And it was like Eris was 9 years old.
Yeah. I feel like
this.
That was on one of my Discords recently, and one of the people was like, "I need someone to help me. I feel like this doesn't make sense. I don't think this is right, and I still don't know."
Yeah, I don't know. I looked at it. I was questioning everything, and Megan was like, well, this and this and this. So I'm like, I don't know. The math is mathing, I guess.
I think the math is mathing, but I just think it's a plot hole in the storyline. Yeah, unfortunately.
But I need to know what happens between them two.
Yes.
The anticipation, it better be fucking good. If it's anticlimactic.
Oh, gosh. I
like
swear.
Cassian killing himself.
She's gonna throw the book across the room and be like, I'm done.
I'm done. If I don't fucking find out. But on to the next one. Tamlin. Our Tammy do nothing. Tammy Tam. What's he doing in his wolf form? Not wrapped up yet.
I know so many people hate him.
I know.
Like worse than Megan does.
I feel like I'm pretty easy on him compared to some people.
A lot of people hate Tamlin more than Megan, but I feel like he's got to get some sort of redemption. Whether or not that redemption ends in him not making it, I don't know.
Yeah. But I mean, I feel like he did kind of get a redemption a little bit.
Yes, a little.
He helped.
Yeah, at the end of ACOWAR, he helps with saving Elaine, which I always just was like, is this a sign? Elaine is a Tamlin, but I don't want to go down that rabbit hole again. But he helps save Elaine and holds off Hybern, and then he obviously comes and forces Baron to the war, and then he also gives his kernel of power to save Rhys at the end of ACOWAR. So he does kind of 3 good deeds at the end when he's not benefiting from anything because he lost his entire court because of Feyre.
Yeah.
I guess maybe my thing is maybe if there's a bigger redemption, people won't absolutely hate him. I don't know.
No, yeah, that's true.
I think I'm not as hard on him after the second half of ACOWAR because of those things that he does. And then seeing him suffer in Frost and Starlight and Silver Flames, it's obviously leading towards something because we have seen him in this depressive state since the end of the war. I don't know where Tamlin goes from here, but he's not wrapped up. So... Yeah. There has to be some sort of ending to his story. Or we would have already had the ending to his story if that was the case.
Yeah. Next. Nesta still has a kernel of power. So what will her powers be now? What are we thinking, ladies?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think she's obviously not going to be like Amryn, who's not showing any signs of power. I think she's powerless, is what they say at the end of Silver Flames. And the mother obviously saved that kernel of power still within her.
Yeah.
So I think she just has the drop she was just originally going to get from the cauldron, like Elaine did.
So now technically Feyre has 7 kernels, so she'll be more powerful than Nesta.
Yeah, but then Feyre was just saved by the cauldron. So with the bargain through Nesta, so does Feyre now have cauldron powers?
Interesting, yeah. That would be interesting.
We'll have to see.
Do you think Nesta still has her power, just not as strong? Or do you think it's just lesser magic that they let her keep?
I don't think she has any of her death powers anymore. Death god powers. I think she just has normal high fae powers.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe.
Which include like winnowing and...
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I guess we'll just have to see how it manifests.
Yeah. I feel like she might have some kind of special power still. It just won't be
as strong
at the capacity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that would make sense.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to see. Speaking of Nesta, do we think she's connected to the mother? Or maybe just through her powers in that moment because she's so powerful, almost as powerful as the cauldron, I guess. She's talking to the mother.
I don't know. I mean, she's the only person we've seen talk
That's true.
to the mother directly, so she could be more closely tied to the mother now instead of the cauldron. So maybe she has some sort of power from the mother instead of the cauldron.
Like she was in despair all the time because she stole from the cauldron or whatever, and now that the mother gave her a kernel, maybe she's like happy-go-lucky, powerful still, but good magic instead of death magic.
Yeah, she still has her sword and blades that she made while she was powerful, so she's definitely still going to be a badass.
Ooh, what if she could heal? Because now she's going to be this like epic warrior. Now she can heal people too, or herself.
That would be cool if she had powers like that because of her connection to the mother. But she's the only person we've seen kind of interact with the mother. So I feel like there definitely has to mean something. Or that could have been the end of the connection, is like the mother seeing the good deed she was doing for her sister and her nephew and saving their lives. And so she stepped in to save Nesta, and that could just be the end of it. But I guess we'll see.
Interesting. Next on my list, Gwen's story. She's back in the library.
So she, at the end of Silver Flames, it's noted that even though she went through the blood rite, she was back in the library and not leaving really except to go to training, I think, at the House of Wynn. She's not, out exploring Valaris. Yeah. But I think that's, again, going to come into play with her story with Azrael. I think he's going to
pull her out of it. And, the one time she fucking leaves, she gets stolen in the middle of the night by these scary guys and brought wherever the fuck they were brought for the blood rite.
Yeah.
So I can see why she's still in the library again.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I can see why she needs someone like Azrael to pull her out of her miseries.
Yeah.
The dots are connecting.
I would do anything for that man. She's just so hot.
Oh, shit. Over Reese, Megan?
I don't know. I don't know.
All right.
It's all right. I understand. I have trouble choosing between the two of them.
I'm all for Cassian. I don't think anything I learn about Azrael will change my mind. I love that little brute bastard.
Cassian's good in bed. Don't get me wrong, but he gets on my fucking nerves a lot.
Yeah. Don't they all? They're men.
Yeah, that's true. I was very critical of Reese and Silver Flames.
You were, actually. Yeah. More than I expected.
But that's because I do love him, but I feel like it's good that I can be critical of him because it just shows my true love. Yeah.
Yeah, you hold him to a higher standard. Duh. Yeah, because you love him. Duh. Makes sense. Next on our list is Vasa being returned to Koshi. Because he says that line in the end of the book, something like, tell Vasa I'm waiting. Do we think she's going to make it back to the lake or be dragged there?
I don't think she's going to end up back on the lake. Or if she does, it's not going to be for a very long time. But I think there was a theory.
Oh, yeah. So I saw this and I had also never seen this one before. So it said that something about relating to Elaine's story with Koshi, relating to the big betrayal coming in the next book. This person guessed that it was coming in the way of Papa Archeron. Going back to Akawar, Papa Archeron had to make a bargain with Koshi in order to release Vasa from the lake long enough for them to win the war. But things like that have to come at a hefty price. And so they think that this price comes in the form of one of his daughter's hands in marriage. So it's very interesting.
Ooh.
Yes. I've also seen like Elaine being the betrayer because she will do anything to break her mating bond with Lucian, and that's also in going to Koshi to break this, or if she somehow ends up there because Vasa hasn't returned to the lake that Elaine will end up there in some sort of marriage to Koshi, and she will become evil. Though I've been rooting for an evil arc for Elaine this whole time.
And then let me add in right above that, like I saw that, what if Elaine is the person that Briellen said could be convinced to betray the Night Court, and that she does it to try to get out of the mating bonds?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's impossible.
No, but I would be sad, I think, if Elaine was
I wouldn't. She's so freaking boring and like annoying. She does nothing. She's basically Tamlin.
I try to give her the benefit of the doubt because, and I'm sorry in advance, Megan, but initially before Nesta's book, like I hated her. And then I read her book and I was like, oh, okay, all this makes sense. And I don't hate her. So I don't know. Right.
Yeah. So once you read an Elaine book, it could be different.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely hated Nesta and ACOTAR. And I wasn't super fond of her in ACOMAF, but after ACOWAR, I was sold on Nesta. Yeah. But Elaine, I get it. She has a lot to work through. We haven't seen her POV, so will that change things? Probably. I probably will like her more once I can hear her more, because even before we got Nesta's point of view, we still heard from her more. She was still more present in the story than Elaine ever has been. And I think that's why I'm so indifferent if she turns evil or not, because I'm not like fully invested in her story, because we just don't know anything really about her. I mean, we saw her have a little bit more of a backbone in Silver Flames.
Yeah.
But I mean, I can totally see her totally becoming evil to get out of her meeting bond. Not on purpose. I don't think she's going to go into it thinking that anything bad is going to happen except her getting rid of this mating bond, which she just wants 100%, maybe to be with Asriel or whatever, and then she becomes a betrayer and evil.
That makes sense though, with her whole like she's ditzy and doesn't really, she's kind of like an airhead, how she was described way back in book 1, or like Delirious didn't even realize they were poor, whatever the hell she said about her. I was like,
she's a little delulu.
Yeah, so maybe that makes sense though, that she doesn't realize she's being tricked into being evil.
Yeah. I don't think she'll do it on purpose. Or she really is just has us all fooled, and we're going to be like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah. She's like, mwahaha, middle child.
Yeah.
We need an Elaine book ASAP.
Yeah, I definitely think Elaine is next. I don't know. I really do.
Probably because I want Az. I'm still holding on to the theory of like, what if it's Elaine, Lucian, Az, and Gwen dual, not even dual, extra dual.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen multiple point of views in, in Crescent City and in Throne of Glass, so it's not out of the realm of possibility that we see a 4-person perspective.
And I think that like helped my thinking. I'm like, well, it's not like she hasn't written it before.
Yeah. I definitely think we're getting multiple points of view in the next book, because it's the only thing that makes sense. And then I think the last book is just to wrap it all up. I don't know whose point of view that's from. Maybe that's from the whole cast of everyone again. So that would be nice to have the point of view of everyone before the series is over.
Because there's going to be 2 more full books.
I believe so.
And one more novella, I think.
But I mean, who knows? There could be more.
Yeah. You just never know with her.
Keeps getting books added, so.
Yeah.
So we're never going to fully wrap up anything, is what you're saying.
I mean,
I don't know.
There can always be another book.
Technically, Throne of Glass is wrapped up, but you obviously never know, so.
Yeah. All right. So last on our list is Jurian and the Band of Exiles. They kind of just disappeared in this book.
Yeah, you see them at the beginning with Cassian going over there to see what they know about the queens, and Eris is there. But really after that scene, you don't really see Jurian or Vasa again, and then you only see Lucian at Christmas, or winter solstice.
She's not mentioned again, Vasa, until Koshi brings her up.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm sure they will come back because of the Koshi probably being the whole underlying big bad, but...
Yeah. And then there is another theory that me and Amy kind of looked at, was that Vasa and Jurian will become the sole king and queen of the human lands. So that does seem to make sense, though. It's just also weird vibes of Lucian and Jurian and Vasa. Are they going to be the throuple? I don't know.
I don't know. I've had that thought too.
Just weird.
Yeah, I feel like the way he reacts to them, it could mean either they're going to turn on the Fae or be against the Fae. I don't know. I just feel like a bad feeling coming from Jurian and Vasa together there.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, Jurian has never really done anything yet to our group of protectors of the humans. So.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe Baron gets involved somehow and fucks everything up. I don't know.
Who knows?
I guess we'll have to see. But I will let you, Megan, and Amy take over and tell us some more fun theories and predictions you found.
All right.
I'm going to sip my tequila and listen. Take it all in.
So there's
had some thoughts.
Yeah, so there's a huge list Amy sent over to me to review. And so we've gone over most of them in just the section of things that have not been wrapped up yet. But there's a few more. And Amy, we'll start with you.
All right. I'm going to butcher the name at the end of this theory, but that's okay.
We've done it for 32 weeks.
So I forget how to pronounce it. But so the first thing I found was that Emery will lead some sort of rebellion or revolution within Illyria to liberate the females from the oppression they face, and she'll be likened to a modern day Annelius.
Yeah, I really like that because obviously we know like that is an important cause to Rhysand and Cassian is to get the females in Illyria to be training, and I definitely think Emery's going to play a big part in that now. Is it to lead a rebellion or a revolution? I don't know. But I definitely think she's going to have a big say in how these females are now training, especially since she won the blood right.
Right.
Yeah. I think she's going to get shit for that, too.
Oh, of course.
The blood right.
Of course.
Winning the blood right. I think they're going to try and take it from her in some way, say it was controlled by Briollin, it wasn't real.
There were weapons.
Would have won. Yeah, somehow going to be like, no way, they didn't beat.
And then she's going to be like, literally, fuck you. I won with the weapons in there, which is harder than if there wasn't.
No shit. That's how I think it's going to be like a revolution with the girls taking over there, Valkyries.
Yeah.
Overcoming the Illyrians in some way, shape, or form. The men.
It's a good theory. I like it. I like to see it.
I like it.
The second one is we get this mention in Frost and Starlight about Rose Hall and going to see she. So people think that's Asriel's mother and that she is some sort of clairvoyant or has some deviation like magic. And this is where he went to visit and who he went to visit when he randomly winnowed away when we find out that Elaine was having her strange visions. There was a mention of Rose Hall for a reason. It definitely hasn't come back up again. So Frost and Starlight, if anything, is not just a winter special. It's an information dump. It's an information dump. And we're just waiting to see where those things come into play.
Yeah, hints everywhere in that book.
Yeah, so
we even learn about more in her secret estate in that book.
Right.
So much crazy shit happens in that little
so
book.
Many things
See, that's why I like it better than ACOTAR. You guys.
Well, it was close for me, to be fair.
It was not close for me at all.
Oh shit. Megan's like, oh hell no.
It's not like I dislike it. I do like it. I just, I don't know.
Not your cup of tea.
Amy, you could do the next one.
All right. I don't know that I completely agree with the next one, but it was something that was interesting that I saw. It said Mor and Eris are mates, and that is why Eris didn't kill Mor and spared her becoming part of the Autumn Court. But whoever this person was didn't believe they'd end up together, which neither do I. But
no,
interesting.
I don't know.
But it does make sense of what this secret is, and ask more. I don't know, like what else could it be?
I don't know if I agree with it.
Yeah,
like there's something up, obviously.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if I'm 100% on board, but I wouldn't be shocked if that ended up being the reason.
Yeah. I feel like there has to be some nice guy act behind this, but you can't tell anybody because he's Baron's son. He's supposed to be the Autumn Court. So like showing softness is a weakness and Baron might kill him for it. I feel like that's more of the vibe I'm getting from this secret. But I don't know. So it better be fucking juicy, making me wait
It needs
this long.
to be at this point.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the last one on the list, speaking of mates, is that Amarantha was actually Tamlin's mate, but he had rejected the bond. And this would explain why Amarantha and her riddle was so obsessed with Tamlin. But she also allowed him to live above ground in the Spring Court. Conveniently, the masks she spelled to the Spring Court faces also kept anyone from being able to gaze upon his face. And she was obviously extremely jealous person. So
yeah, interesting.
I feel like I've heard that one for a while.
Yeah.
In different ways, and I feel like it could be true.
Yeah, It could be.
Yeah.
I don't know if I agree with it or not, but I don't disagree with it either.
Right. It's one of the ones that I'm like, I mean, I don't know, but it certainly could make sense.
Like why he just sat there and did nothing. Did that mating bond, like even if he rejected it, still prevent him? I mean, he did end up killing her at the end of the day.
Yeah, he did kill her.
I don't know, even if he rejected the bond, if he would be able to do something like that.
We don't know, I guess.
We've never seen a rejected bond before, so we don't know what happens afterwards.
What happens. Yeah. So before Megan introduces our next book, and this is a big one because up until now, I'm sure our listeners have just expected the next book of the series, but now, what are we going to do? We're done. Before we get to that, though, I am going to briefly mention some of these predictions that I've gotten right throughout our podcast journey in Silver Flames.
So proud of you.
Thank you, Megan.
Like 5 of them. Sorry. I'm jumping the gun.
5 right.
Okay. Well, a couple of these are small, just little ones. Gwen will be the first to sign up to train with Nesta. That was kind of all foreshadowing there, so picked up on that. Nesta definitely will make it down the 10,000 stairs, which she does twice, I think. Right? Yeah. Once in anger and one
on Starfall. Yep.
Yeah. Third, I thought Nesta and Cassian were definitely going to have sex before they did, and they did a lot of times.
Boy, did
over
they.
and over, dirty sex. Great to read.
Great to read. A+.
Would love to read it again anytime.
Yeah. I actually didn't know when I was reading Silver Flames the first time that it was going to be spicier than the other books. And so I was like, oh my God, I'm going to have a heart attack.
I didn't know either. I feel like you didn't tell me that.
I don't know. I missed that interview, I guess.
Well, thank the cauldron.
Thank
that
the
it
cauldron
was,
and the mother.
Obsessed. And the mother. Yes. Number 4, I have Nesta is the one to save Feyre in the end. Like, fuck yeah. I knew this was going to come true.
Yep.
Whether it was learning how to or physically saving her, bitch.
That scene.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yep.
Nesta came through and made me a champion of predictions. And the final one I had was Gwen, Emery, and Nesta will win the blood right as Cassian, Az, and Rhys did together, which I know Nesta technically didn't make it to the stone, but she definitely held everybody off and won it for them as a trio, I would say.
Yeah, I just thought of something.
What?
We didn't mention Baby Nyx in this episode yet.
Oh my God, how could we not? I guess he's kind of not wrapped up. He is, I guess. The birth, at least.
Well, yeah, but his future.
Yeah, the interactions he's going to be having with his family. And then also, speaking of theories about Baby Nyx, I saw something that said the bone carver, when he was showing Feyre a baby, did not have wings. And is that going to be another boy that they have? Or was it just because Feyre changed the future by being in Illyrian form when they were having sex, and then that's why the baby ended up having wings? Or is the boy that he showed her just a different boy?
Yeah. Or is it the same boy and somehow he loses his wings?
Ooh.
No, I don't like that one.
I don't like that.
That's dark. That's dark.
Did you guys read the other bonus scene or just the Az one?
I read it.
Other one?
There's a Feyre and Rhysand one, I think, where they're choosing Nyx's name, if I remember correctly.
Oh, I don't think I read that.
I sent it to you in our group chat with Rachel.
I don't know. I guess I did.
Well, you'll have to go back and read it.
Damn. I'm going to go after we're done with this for sure. Any other theories you guys can think about or anything else you want to mention to wrap up the ACOTAR series?
Not that I can say. But yes, I have lots.
Right? Like, not that I can think of that's not spoilery for other stuff.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it. And so do our listeners that have only read ACOTAR.
But, I'll come back to that if you'll have me.
Of course. But also, if our listeners who have read the other series want to DM me directly at Megan_Haggerty, please feel free to do that because I have a lot to say and I love to talk about it. So
yes. All right, Megan, take it away and tell the pod what we're doing next.
All right. So our next book for our 6th book of Bookish Bliss is Amanda's favorite book of all time, which is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros.
Fourth Wing. That is the holiday edition. Love it.
Yeah.
Amy, did we just become best friends?
Maybe. Listen, Zayden is my ultimate book boyfriend so far, so.
Ooh.
Who is?
Zayden. He beat Reese out for me.
Me too. I agree.
I'm sorry, Megan.
And did you read ACOSF first?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, honey. Megan said, it's only because you read Fourth Wing first.
I mean, people have their preferences, and mine is Rhysand, and then I don't even know if Zayden's in the second spot.
Ooh.
Really? Well, Rhysand's not in mine either. It's Cassian.
Rhysand's probably in my second spot.
We're like fighting today.
I know, we're fighting. We have a guest, and look at what it does to us.
I will happily come back for any end episodes for anything I've read.
Yes.
We'll
We
would love that.
Have you back.
Yeah, definitely. With our next book reveal, we are going to announce we are taking a 3-week break. So after this episode airs, there's going to be 3 weeks, and the first episode of Fourth Wing will come out on September 26th. But please check our Instagram for updates.
We need a much needed break. It's been a long 32 weeks.
Yeah.
Yes, so we just are going to be prepping for Fourth Wing, so we have all the goody informations to give to you, because this will be Amanda's first reread and my reread of Fourth Wing, but
we both have read it, so there won't be any predictions for every episode, but we still are going to only stick to the chapter section, so you can read along with us if you haven't read it thus far.
Yes, no spoilers beyond the cover chapters.
Yes, you don't have to read the whole book to listen.
Oh, you just have to be caught up on the chapters we're covering.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Amy, for joining us.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. This was fun.
It was so fun. You'll have to come back.
Yes.
I know
I would love to.
Now that I know Zayden is your number one book boyfriend, next final thoughts?
Yeah.
You're in.
I'm down.
He's definitely in my top 5. I just want to reiterate that I don't hate Zayden. I do like him. He's definitely in my top 5. He's probably number 3.
Okay.
We're going to have to rank our book boyfriends after we finish a couple series.
So.
But
bye, Amy!
And that's all we have for you today. I can't wait to start the next book. My favorite book of all time. My first reread ever. So it's going to be great. I can't wait. Please let us know what you think by leaving us a review and comments on any of the platforms you are listening/watching on, or on our social media pages. This helps tremendously to get the word out and lead more listeners to find our show and tune in.
Yes, don't forget to email, follow, subscribe, rate us 5 stars, and tell all your friends about us. And we hope the rest of your day is blissful. Bye!
Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you after our break on September 26th, where we start part 1 of Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yaros, covering chapters 1 through 8. Happy reading!